Hello and welcome to Chatting with Malachy. I'm your host, Malachy Judd, and my guest today is the lovely and talented Maebh Stier. So we're glad to have her on the program. Thanks for coming out.
Good to be here.
And as those of you know who have been following at all or paying attention, the upcoming new comedy variety series that I am producing, hosting, writing, and a number of other things, the Malachy Judd program. Meave is one of the regular characters on that program, playing Daniela Vanderhill. And so that's been an interesting experience.
Oh, it's been an adventure. My first time, this is basically my first time on screen, sort of, and it's definitely off to a good start, I think.
Well, that's good, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Mm-hmm. So we're going to take just a moment here at the top of the show to take a little bit of an advanced look at a piece of the series featuring Meave and myself. And so we'll take a look at that right now.
Daniela, is Scott Brown here?
Haven't seen him.
Well, it's almost time for his song. We need to find him. Did you try calling him?
Better than that. I did call him.
Okay, and did you get a hold of him?
Worse than that. I left him a message.
Well, we need to find him now. It's an emergency.
You know Scott. He'll probably show up right when it's time for him to be on stage.
Yeah, right. Well, we can't wait for that. Look, go get my phone. I'll try calling him.
Are you sure you wouldn't rather use my phone?
No, I prefer my own. Just go get it for me, please.
Okay.
What am I gonna do with her?
You know, you're probably eligible for an upgrade on your phone by now.
Well, yeah, I am. But I'd have to renew my contract and upgrade to a more expensive plan. I can keep the same plan as long as I don't renew.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm sure the plans have changed a lot in the last 30 years.
They have. Yeah. Let me call Scott. The battery's dead again. I better plug it into the charger.
Yeah, let me get that for you.
Gee, this battery never lasts very long anymore. It's a shame you can't buy new ones. Oh, good. That should do the trick. Go ahead.
And there you have it. That's me, Mr. Technology. So, talked about that last time with Russ.
Oh, wow.
Anyhow, so you came onto the program actually pretty early. You were,
yeah.
Other than Scott, you were the first one to really officially be cast.
Yeah.
Well, to officially be cast and to stay. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, to be a long time sort of veteran of people coming and going, I guess.
Yeah. So it was kind of an interesting story. We had originally written the character of Daniela. Mm-hmm. And we had people come in to read, and nobody really fit the part of this nice Dutch girl that it was like, it just wasn't working. And so we changed it, and I can't remember now, but it doesn't really matter. We changed the character. We said, okay, fine, she's going to be someone there. We changed her name. We changed everything. Right. And then, you got the notice for the casting call through...
I think it was some casting board online.
Okay. Yeah.
It was something like that, and I had nothing to do, and I was really looking for something, and there it was.
And was that for the variety show, or was that for the short film? Because both
that
things
was
were kind
for
of
the variety show.
It was, okay.
Yeah,
great.
I heard about the short film that you were doing while I was here.
Okay,
through
great,
this.
Great. So you came in, and Daniela had been written out by that time, but it was like, wait a minute.
Here she is.
There she is. Hey. And so we went back to the original design and kind of rewrote things back to their original way. And you've done a very, very good job.
Thank you. I definitely enjoy it. It's very fun getting to act out the sarcastic side of me that I don't get to express normally.
Yes. And I think it's a fun character because she puts up with a lot from.
Oh yes, she does. Things that I definitely wouldn't put up with. But
That's true. I've tried and it hasn't worked.
No,
So.
it doesn't work out well. But I think that she's a very interesting character. She's definitely not just one-dimensional, and I think that can happen a lot in these kinds of shows.
Yes.
That characters just get cut down to a punchline a little bit, and that's what I like. That's what I like about these characters and about this show, is that it's not like others in that, they're pretty realistic. Just to much extent.
Russ and I were talking about that on the last program, that it's really maybe the first of its kind to blend such far out silly comedy with characters that really have a lot of layers and depth. I mean, every character has a lot going on, really, that you might not see at first when you see the first show or two shows, but as we get into the flow of the series, you'll discover that these characters have a lot going on, both personally as well as in their interactions with each other. So.
Yeah, definitely. The shenanigans make for plenty of cast joke, so that's another good part of the show.
Yes. So you were born in Washington, D.C.
I was, yes, in a sort of a country club hospital. I'm not sure why that was. It just happened to be where I ended up. And I lived in Silver Spring, which is in Maryland, and it's sort of an integrated community in that there are some upper class suburban aspects mixed in with the high murder rate of Baltimore. So it's not. It was definitely interesting. Not necessarily a place where a 4-year-old can be raised well. And that was what my parents felt. So we all made the move across the country, all the way across the country to Oregon here when I was 6, I think. And
was
here,
that Portland or was it?
Yeah, it was Portland.
Yeah.
And here was where I sort of got my start in acting.
Okay.
When I was about 7, I went to this nearby theater camp. It was the guy who created it, Steve, would write a musical every year for us to act in and sing in. And that was really what got me into acting, I think. Seeing all the older kids and really looking up to them a lot. And sort of wanting to be one of them. And from there, I started watching more operas, and I started watching more, TV shows, and it just stuck with me more than anything.
Yeah.
And then my mom got a job offer in Florida, of all places. So we moved out there, and surprisingly enough, there wasn't actually very much acting stuff in Florida. You'd think it was there would be because Disney and like Universal Studios, but it's actually kind of a cultural wasteland. So we stayed there for a little while and got some tropical cabin fever and came back here. And
how long were you in?
I was in Florida for about 2 years, I think, and then it was a little overwhelming or underwhelming. I'm not really sure.
So you came back.
I came
Portland.
back here.
How long has that been?
Oh gosh, the time really starts flying. It's been over a year.
Okay.
I got here summer of 2012.
Okay.
So, and
glad to be back.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I missed it more than I thought I would going to Florida. And I started acting again here after some persuasion from my mom. I don't know, it just seemed so far-fetched to be successful and have a good time in acting for me, because I felt like there was a lot of negativity in it. But in about like early 2013, I started getting into some theater things again, and I realized that there wasn't actually as much negativity in it as I thought there would be.
Huh.
And from there, it's just, you know, it's come here.
Yeah.
The big time.
Big time. Malachy Judd program.
Yeah, nothing like it. Well, that's true. That much is true. And now, you know, this is what I'm doing, and
That's great. That's great. So you've done some theater. What are some of the roles that you've done up to this point?
well, I did my first professional theater production summer of 2013, which was last summer, which was Into the Woods, which is a Sondheim, 3-hour musical, which is a big undertaking. And I played Rapunzel, and that was very fun.
Yeah.
And I've been doing a lot of theater workshops around town at a lot of children's theaters, sort of getting me prepared and sort of training for, to get a better education in acting so that I can really be the best that I can be at it.
Yeah, that's great. What are your, goals, plans for the future?
Well, I'd really like to sort of do all kinds of acting, like voice acting, TV, theater, opera, basically a little bit of everything, if possible, and just sort of have that as my career.
Yeah.
And make a living off of that.
Well, if anyone can do it, I'm sure you can.
Thank you very much.
I've had the opportunity to experience a number of your talents up to this point, and very happy to have you on the program, because you really do bring so much, not only just in the character of Daniela and your portrayal, but with other talents as well, such as singing. That's a big one.
Thank you.
How did that start? I mean, how did you discover your interest for singing?
I've been sort of singing along in the car with things since I was really young, and it's always just been one of the ways that I express myself, from like age 3 or something, and it's always been sort of an outlet, I guess, sort of to be a little theatrical, but also to I don't know, there's a rush that sort of comes from singing well and doing well, and I really value that, and I've always sort of wanted to cultivate it. And I've studied with a couple of voice teachers and am continuing to do so.
Yeah.
And I just find that it makes me happy and makes people around me happy, so it's very rewarding.
That's great. And you do a very nice job at it.
Thank you.
You really do.
Thank you very much.
I was very impressed when I was able to hear you for the first time. and I think we have another thing coming up.
We do,
soon.
yeah. Tuesday.
A couple days from now, something. Yeah. That should be a lot of fun as well.
Oh, I think so.
I know this is kind of interest to me. This is sort of entertainment related, but I know that you play the Dutch girl on the program, but that your heritage at least is.
It's very European.
There's a bit of Irish in there.
There's a bit of Irish,
including your name.
My name.
Let's talk about.
Well, I think my parents were going to go for something more traditional, but my grandfather, whose mother is an Irish immigrant, was, and he came into mind, and he gave them the suggestion for something that was a little bit more in touch with the Irish side of my family. And it's it's good and it's bad to have an unusual name. I never have to write my last name on anything in class because there's not more than one.
Yeah.
There's been plenty a mispronunciation of my name in my life. Maeve, Maze, the works. But it's a big part of who I am, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's a nice name. I like it.
Thank you.
So.
It goes with the M thing that we've got going on here.
Yeah, that's the whole kind of Irish M. Irish M's.
Irish
There
M's.
you go.
So.
Malachy, good Irish form of the name.
Yeah.
And I there's not a person who has not at some point called me Malachi, so I can kind of relate to the
Yeah, I'm sure.
the whole pronunciation thing. Now, what I find particularly intriguing, just because it's really, at least in my experience, not that common, but another thing that I share with you is that there's a lot of Irishness in my family, but we have a bit of Jewish connection as well, and that's sort of an odd combo in a way.
Right, the Catholic and the Jewish, the tension there is very tangible, very real.
So what's from your perspective? What's that like?
Well, growing up,
we had Hoduka last,
Yeah. Oh, it's
Thanksgiving, whatever they keep calling it.
Thanksgiving. That was that's always fun. There's a little bit of an accompanying of holidays there. It's something that's different, from a lot of, it's sort of a cultural identity. More than other things, I think. It's definitely been different for me. Growing up in a very white Christian community, and I received more anti-Semitism than I thought I would growing up. That's been something that I've been taking in stride a lot, but it's definitely something that was new for my mom to see because she's Christian, and she didn't know it still existed, and I didn't really either. But that's been something that's been very influential for me, I think. Just, something that I can hold on to and say, I survived.
So then the just curiosity, but the Jewish side of your family, are they practicing, or is it more just?
Well, to be honest, they're kind of dying out.
Yeah.
My dad's side. My dad's uncle is Arthur Ziegert, who was a very famous Holocaust photographer. His photography's in the Steven Spielberg archives and all of that, and that's been a big part of my my growing up. But they're generally not very, very into it. It's just sort of a part of who they are on that side.
Yeah. It can vary quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
That's
There's
for sure.
Yeah.
So that's great. So here we are, finding ourselves putting this variety show together,
Yes.
and like I say, it's really coming together nicely. Largely, I would say, in part to having this great cast in place. Let's talk about some of the other people on the show, or not even specifically,
gossip.
but let's
do a
talk
little bit of
behind their
gossiping.
back.
That's a great
If you
idea.
guys are watching right now, go ahead and turn it on. No. No, but I mean, I'm just interested in getting perspectives because I feel really great about the cast as a whole.
Yeah. It's kind of it's a community. It's a little family.
Yeah.
I really like it. Just being here and being able to work with people who are, like Scott. He's very, very funny and very talented, and Russ is always good to talk to.
Yeah.
And it's so, like, interesting because I've never had like close friendly relationships with any castmates.
Oh yeah.
In the past, I don't know, theater can sometimes get a little distant. But here we've got a lot of time to sort of cultivate it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I was hoping to experience going into acting,
Yeah,
and definitely something that I'm finding is as good as I thought it would be.
That's great. That's great. It is. It's kind of like, it's like a little family.
It
you know what
is.
I mean?
Yeah.
And I've always kind of done that anyway. I mean, whether it's been in bands or with the
Right.
previous TV show, you know, it's like you become a family. It's
Yeah.
it's special. There's a bond to it.
Sticking
you know,
together and forgetting lines together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just really a good experience to be able to work with people who are so talented and so nice, and it's just great.
Yeah. That is great. So so we're looking forward to that as it continues. We got a lot of
Absolutely.
fun stuff coming up, so
Oh,
do be
more to
watching for the Malachy Judd program coming soon with Maebh Stier as Daniela Vanderhill and myself as Malachy Judd. So, I don't know. I don't get to ever play anybody. Anyway.
Just a caricature.
Pretty much. So, anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Maebh, for
Thank
being
you
out here
so
today.
much.
And we'll be seeing you soon, and I'll be seeing you next time. I'm Malachy Judd, and chatting with Malachy next month with Scott Jeffrey Brown. So, see you then. Bye for now.